Please introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been in real estate.
My name is Vesely, and I'm from Albuquerque. I've been doing real estate 2 years.
All right. To you, what's the difference between exchanging and more standard forms of real estate?
Well, more standard forms of real estate involve very simple money for home or land, and exchanging involves more creative thought using perhaps a piece of land as a down payment, and there's benefit on both sides. Probably just a little more creative and expansive on opportunities rather than just an exchange of money for a product.
Why do you think it hasn't really blown up in the real estate industry?
I feel like a lot of people don't even know about it. I would have never known about it had one of our sponsors not come to me and said, you really have to go. I think it was really great for me because I was a realtor 1 year and I started thinking like an exchanger at that point, and it changed everything because then we don't have to think about banks, we don't think about, none of those things matter. What we think about is what does someone have, what does someone need, and how can we bring those things together. And sometimes we even involve another party and come up with this magical equation and everybody benefits. And, I haven't done any yet, but sitting in a room full of people who can be creative like this is so much more beneficial than just thinking, can a mortgage lender get you a home?
But do you think, did they ever even mention exchanging?
No, I really, like I said, a sponsor introduced me to it. He said, you have to come here. And I have to say, I think that the reason that I joined initially is because some of these men in here have been in the business for 50 years. I came to help absorb some of their knowledge.
Awesome.
I thought, that room is full of information. To go back though, why do people not know? I think that people are maybe not open-minded enough. They just don't know. It's a little scary, I think, to think about, trading. It doesn't seem possible almost. I think that people just aren't open. It's scary because it's unknown.
Well, and if half the people haven't even, I'm sure if you've done real estate, you've heard of it enough. If you've done it for enough years, you've heard of exchanging. It's probably a term that gets thrown around.
Well, I think they just think of 1031 exchanges, where when you have your surplus, you have to invest it in something. And I feel like that is something that's done in here, but it's so much more. So I'm bringing women in because there aren't a lot of women. And so I'm trying to get a younger woman presence.
Cool. So is this, obviously you're going to do whatever makes you money, but is this something that you're going to try and bring into your...
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Being so young, I don't have a great client base yet, and I don't have a lot of inventory. But, I have a client right now who's a business owner and has a piece of land out in the East Mountains, and his, kids take up all his time. So his dream of having that place is gone, but he doesn't need the money and he doesn't need the land. So now I can trade it into something that will actually make money for him, and he's really excited about it. And I just think being able to go to somebody and say, well, look, do you want money, or do you want something that's going to make you money, or do you want another piece of land? What do you want? And it makes them feel like, wow, you're really taking care of me. You're exploring so many different ways to do this, and a lot of them don't even involve money.
And so they call that's what they refer to as counseling.
Mm-hmm.
So when you learned about exchanging a year into your career, a year ago that's when you learned about counseling as opposed to just representing someone.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel like you've developed stronger connections with your clients?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they know that I'm not just a regular realtor who's just going to do the basics for them. I'm somebody who's going to think of all sorts of options and, situations that they probably haven't even thought of and didn't realize was possible. I think this could be beneficial to me as well, because if I'm going to get involved in something and there is no money exchanging, I might take a piece of the action as pay. And I'm a little fascinated by that also.
Other than the knowledge, do you feel any camaraderie here? Do you feel...
Oh, I don't miss a meeting. These are my guys and gals, a couple, and they're so open if I have questions and giving me ideas and showing me how it is that they did what they did. And oh gosh, yes.
And how does their openness differ from more standard real estate brokers?
I just think that they understand that, the fact that I'm even here is important, and they want to make sure that I get everything I can out of it. And, when you go back into the population of realtors, it's just so vanilla. They're not helping each other. They don't have any ideas. They're just buying and selling.
Yep.
Buying and selling.
All right, if you could introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and how long you've been involved in real estate.
Okay, Erica Vesely. I have been a realtor 4 years. I've been in this group 3 years. And just really amazing exposure. I have to say that, doing retail sales was not exciting to me, and coming into this room with all the ideas and so many mentors that I have evolved into doing a commercial deal since, and I understand what they're saying in the room, which is fantastic because I didn't really catch on at first. But the exposure and having to go through the commercial deal has taken me way out of my comfort zone and allowed me to grow. And I think that has taken me to a whole new level, and I love it.
How many meetings did you go to before you made a deal with the people involved?
So let's see, I probably had gone to 10, and then got a referral out of the room, which was really kind of cool when you realize that we're coming from all different states, and that means that we're going to need to rely on each other to get deals done because we're not licensed in all these states. So it was great to be able to close a deal for people who are out of state.
And so, to some people saying, 10 meetings before you got anything out of it, quote unquote, tell them why it's worth it.
Well, I think for me, I didn't have a whole lot of inventory to bring, so I was really just coming to learn and grow. And so I think that I was being taken seriously in the room because I just kept coming, and they knew that I was dedicated to getting things done. And so I got recognized in the room. It took a little time, but I didn't have the tools in my toolbox to do anything just yet, so it just took a little time.
If you could talk to yourself 5 years ago, now, would that person 5 years ago believe where you are now?
No. And in fact, I was sort of trying to explain to another realtor I know how it feels like I skipped several rungs on a ladder. I mean, I just really have taken such a leap, and it's all because of this room. I mean, you look at how the market is now, and there are realtors who are doing retail sales in residential, and they're just climbing all over each other. And in this room, there's so much creativity and inventory that it's just a whole other plane.
It seems like the more deals, there's enough deals to go around.
Oh, yes.
So any advice they can give, they give it.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, and so are you excited for the future?
Oh, yes. In fact, I just sent out another commercial offer with the same buyers as the deal I just did. So it's happening.
So do you feel like since coming here, that you've developed better relationships with your clients?
Yes, I mean, this is exactly what sets us apart. When you say, well, what can you do that other realtors can't? Well, I can bring it to the national level, and I can help you to figure out where your profits are going to go and how it will benefit you.
And so, do you feel like you've made more of a difference in their lives?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And how does that feel?
It feels really good. It feels like you're really helping people get where they're trying to be with their portfolio. These particular buyers that I'm working with want to end up getting mailbox money in Costa Rica. So we're getting the investments together so they can check their mailbox, and they are so happy.
And you can go to Costa Rica and say it's part of work.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. So, okay, I'll just ask one last question. Do you like your job?
I love my job. And I wouldn't call it a job. I'd call it a career, because it doesn't feel like work. It's exhilarating, and it's something I want to do when I wake up every day.
To someone, and then one more question, to someone who's interested in, who's a broker, and maybe they've done it for a few years, but they're bored. Sell them this. Say they're watching it. What would you tell them?
I would tell them that there's this room full of dynamic people who understand that it's not always about the money. It's about the benefit. And when you start recognizing how you can benefit your clients, you're bringing them a whole other world of possibility. And you come into this room and everybody knows something. So not everyone knows everything, but everybody knows something. And so you can find people in this room who can help you do anything that's possible in the real estate world. They will mentor you and help you get the deal done and benefit both the buyer and the seller. So the concept of benefit rather than money is a lovely thing, because we're not after money every time.
It seems like this has made you more fulfilled as a person.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And I do come 4 times a year, and I can't wait, you know, and actually these have become friends and family, kind of. I love it here.
Do you think you'll ever stop coming?
No, I have to be here. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I'll interview you again in 10 years.
Oh, wonderful.
And we'll see,
Okay.
we'll see what the hell you're doing. So thanks a lot.